Well, now that we've covered Resident Evil the game, I suppose it's time we try covering Resident Evil the movie. What do you think, Piano from Mario 64? Well, sorry I asked you.
Oh yes, Resident Evil the movie. Yes, there is a movie, and yes, it is a movie. It came out in 2002, the same year the Resident Evil remake came out, and holy hell is it really fucking stupid. Tell me, have you ever wanted to see a horror movie with incredibly lame zombies, terrible looking creature effects, Milla Jovovich posing naked, unrealistic action sequences, endless exposition dialogue, Milla Jovovich posing naked, silly overblown editing cuts, confusing continuity errors, and Milla Jovovich posing naked? Well, then this film right here is just for you.
Can't believe I bought this thing just to hold it up in a video. Here it is. Resident Evil the movie.
Okay, before we begin, I need to say something really stupid. Despite the fact that I'm about to make fun of and humiliate this thing to the moon and back, I actually like the Resident Evil movie. A little bit. I like it a little bit. I know, this is great. Now I have wonderful credibility as a film critic, don't I? But yeah, I think Resident Evil is actually alright. The first one, at least. Not the terrible billion other ones that came after it. I mean, if I could give out the #1 award for not the worst movie in the world, I think I would give it to Resident Evil. It's not a great film, and it certainly could have been a hell of a lot better, but compared to most video game to movie adaptations, all of which are extremely revolting, it's not half bad. I mean, compared to Tomb Raider, Mortal Kombat, the Doom movie, and I don't know, Super Mario Brothers.
Got no resources, get a great big super, all because of the evil king.
Yeah, Resident Evil is one of the better ones. In fact, just behind Silent Hill, it might be the most decent.
It's also very dumb, obviously. Let's watch it.
At the beginning of the 21st century.
So at the beginning of the movie, we're treated to some super serious exposition read by a super serious voice, along with some Marilyn Manson music. The first thing we get to see is a bunch of people working in an underground laboratory run by the Umbrella Corporation. We see the scientists, we see the dogs, we see the T-Virus, and we also see the T-Virus leak from containment and kill absolutely everyone. Or wait, was it the creepy camera that killed everyone? I don't know. The intro to this movie is actually pretty cool. It's tense and entertaining, and it pulls us right into the action without being too typical or video gamey. But even though I like it, I do have to ask, why the hell are they showing this part at the beginning of the movie? Why not save this for later? The whole story of Resident Evil is that the T-Virus leaked out of the Umbrella Corporation's containment and killed everyone in a secret underground laboratory. And you don't even learn what happened in the laboratory until the very last third of the game, when you go down beneath the mansion and find all the dead scientists and shit. So why didn't they do something like that for the movie? I mean, think about it. Wouldn't this laboratory be a lot scarier and a lot more mysterious if we didn't see what happened in it? Then again, that makes it sound like I'm advocating shitty flashback sequences, doesn't it?
Yeah, never mind me. I'm just the world's worst film critic.
After the opening sequence, the film transitions into a lovely shot of Milla Jovovich lying down naked in a bathtub. Wait a minute, is this the mansion? Is she inside the Spencer mansion? Already? Yeah, this is the mansion. Definitely. It's even got spooky mansion music playing in the background. Wait, so if this is the mansion, and she lives inside the mansion, who the hell is she? She's not Jill Valentine or anyone from the game. Maybe she's Alexia Ashford.
It's Alexia!
Or maybe she's Alfred Ashford.
Now feel my revenge!
I'm Mila Jovovich, and I stare into my reflection with my cold, sinister, soul-piercing eyes. So after wandering around the mansion, right out of fucking nowhere, Mila gets grabbed, molested, and restrained by a bunch of STARS Alpha Team members, who in no way resemble any of the characters from the game. And at first, it's really hard to tell what's going on.
Prep for entry to the hive.
Wait, we're going into the basement? Already? But I wanted more of the mansion. We didn't even explore the mansion. We didn't even get to see zombies in the mansion. Yeah, the interesting thing about the Resident Evil movie is that pretty much the entire thing takes place in the laboratory underground. It's all about the laboratory, which I guess makes sense. I mean, there would have been a lot of silly plot holes if they made it take place in the house. And it is probably more realistic to keep things isolated in the lab. But still, I have to admit, part of me really wanted to see zombies in the mansion.
Listen to me. I want to know who you people are, and I want to know what's going on here. Now.
God, she can have the scariest eyes on the planet.
Raccoon City, nearest urban center. The mansion where we found you and through which we gained access to the train.
Okay, so I get that they took this train in the basement to get to this giant laboratory deep underground, and I actually do think this is a pretty cool setting for the movie. But are you honestly telling me the Umbrella Corporation built this place? This massive, complex, detailed place? And they did it this deep underground beneath a huge city, all in total secrecy? Maybe I'm just an idiot, but that seems to me a little bloody fucking impossible.
Why can't I remember anything?
A nerve gas was released into the house.
Wait, hold up. Can we rewind that scene for a minute?
A nerve gas was released into the house.
I think that's the best face I've ever seen in my life. I'm Mila Jovovich, and this is the face I make when I'm taking a shower.
Looks like we're taking the stairs.
You know, I think this techno music right here actually sums up a lot of what's wrong with this movie. See, here's the problem with Resident Evil. Way too often, when this movie could try to be scary, it instead tries to be cool. And it does it in a really dated, cheesy 90s-esque fashion. It's kinda sad, because unlike the rest of the movies in this series, the first Resident Evil is the only one that actually tries to take itself seriously. It tries to be a real horror movie, and it just fails at it miserably. Ah, the most predictable jump scare on Earth. Congratulations.
What happened here?
So the main characters start giving us more exposition, which, get used to that, because that's pretty much the whole movie. And they begin to explain how the laboratory was attacked by a computer called the Red Queen.
5 hours ago, Red Queen went homicidal. Sealed the hive and killed everyone down here.
Jesus.
And this, right here, leads us into one of the movie's biggest plot holes. See, the idea is that the Red Queen, the computer, killed everyone because of the T-virus. She didn't want the virus to escape, so she did everything she had to keep it contained and protect the world outside. And if that's so, why the hell doesn't anyone know about this? Like, none of the main characters have any clue what went on down here. So why didn't the Red Queen tell them there was a biohazard? Does the Red Queen not have contact with the Umbrella Corporation? Is she not controlled by anyone working for the Umbrella Corporation? And what's the deal with them putting this shitty computer in charge of the whole facility? Doesn't that seem kinda stupid? Whatever, I don't know why I'm asking for logic. Fucking Resident Evil movies. Oh yes, and here we have the famous laser scene, which is a complete shameless ripoff of the first scene from the movie Cube. Oh, and if you want to see more continuity errors, you know those body parts of his that just collapsed all over the place? Yeah, they're nowhere to be seen afterwards. I'm Mila Jovovich, and I'm here to comfort you with jump scares. Oh no, they found one of the zombie scientists! That means there's zombies in this movie. At last! You know, I really hate zombies that hiss. Why do they always have to make them hiss? They're a lot scarier when they gargle or groan or anything but hissing. I hate it when they hiss. Well, at least they're slow zombies. The movie gets points for that. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? It's an action movie. It's not Resident Evil 1, it's Resident Evil 6.
See how easy that was?
Oh, poor Michelle Rodriguez. If only we'd known something about her little Chris Redfield boyfriend. If the movie didn't have to exposition so much, he could have had a personality before he died. Oh my god, what is that?
That is a liquor from Resident Evil 2. And it looks terrible.
Seriously, look at that thing. Am I supposed to be scared of that thing? God, I bet even the Star Wars Christmas special had better effects than that.
Hello?
Was that a reference to my Star Wars holiday special? Because I'm pretty sure it was.
No, I was not talking about you. Get off my phone.
You know what the best thing about this movie is? The freaking zombie dogs are in it. And unlike the liquor, they look freaking amazing. I'm so glad they decided to put makeup on actual dogs instead of using atrocious CGI from 10,000 years ago. Again, movie, could you please, just for 1 minute, stop trying to be cool and start trying to be scary? Please? Wow, Resident Evil really wants to be the Matrix. I don't know how she did that, but I won't question it. I'm Mila Jovovich, and I'm a fucking freak of nature.
Corporations, like Umbrella, think they're above the law.
So again, the movie tries to serenade us with more boring exposition, but unfortunately, it's just really boring exposition.
We needed something concrete. Anything to expose Umbrella to the press.
Also, the movie really wants to have a strong political message, but it's Resident Evil. So no.
We have to find a way out of this room.
What are you doing?
So eventually the characters realize they're trapped inside the laboratory, and now have no way to escape with all the zombies running around all over the place. So they decide to ask the homicidal Red Queen computer for advice.
Why did you kill everybody down here?
The T-virus escaped into the air conditioning system, and an uncontrolled pattern of infection began. The virus is protean, changing from liquid to airborne to blood transmission.
Oh my god, exposition is so much fun! I love it. Love it. You know, I will give this movie just a little bit of credit. While it is completely littered with exposition, it doesn't ever really break the sin of show don't tell. I mean, it shows. It always shows. But at the same time, it tells. And tells. And tells.
How do you kill them?
Severing the top of the spinal column or massive trauma to the brain are the most effective methods.
You mean shoot them in the head?
Yep, that's the way to do it. In pretty much every zombie movie ever. Oh, look, it's a dark tunnel underground. Another fine chance for the movie to be scary. But again, it's not scary. Hey, it's Michelle Rodriguez's boyfriend again.
JD?
Can I ask a question about him? Why does he look so good?
I didn't mean that in a homosexual way. I meant that in a zombie way.
Like, remember when all the zombies were eating him alive? Consuming him like an ocean and ravenously grabbing at his flesh? Yeah, he apparently came out of that looking like this. A few scratches and a significantly bloody face. Shouldn't he be like a skeleton by now?
Nothing against homosexuals or this man's handsome face. Just... the people upstairs. Who are they?
Spence?
Uh-oh. Why is Spencer guy giving her that look? That's not a good look. Is he evil? Yep, he's evil.
Please. I wouldn't want to shoot you. Might need the bullets.
What an evil thing to say. You evil man.
Fuck off.
I'm Milla Jovovich, and I'm starting to get angry.
You really believe that people like him will ever change anything? No. Nothing ever changes.
You know what? This is the worst villain ever. Seriously, this movie wouldn't even be half as bad if it weren't filled with so many generic cliches. I mean, everything's cliched in this movie. Everything. This out-of-nowhere evil mustache-twirling villain right here, this is nothing but a cliche. A boring, pointless, stupid cliche. And that's the real problem with Resident Evil. Aside from failing to be a scary movie, it's also just a really generic movie. I don't know, I guess it could be worse. It could be more generic. I mean, it's certainly not as generic as World War Z.
We're getting out of here.
You know, most people consider World War Z to be a very decent, realistic, well-produced zombie movie. But you know what? I almost liked Resident Evil more. In my opinion, Resident Evil was almost a better movie than World War Z. Almost. And I actually mean that. See, in my opinion, World War Z was a bland, completely uninspired movie. Like, 100%. Bland and uninspired. It had almost no personality to it. Nothing interesting, nothing that felt unique, no style. There was nothing. Nothing to separate it from other zombie movies, at least. In short, it was exactly what I was expecting. There was nothing in it to make it stand out from any other horror movie I've ever seen. But Resident Evil, as dumb as this movie is, well, it has some personality. It could have been a pretty good horror film. I mean, horror films are almost always stupid. I never expect them to be clever or well executed. That's a rarity, finding that in a horror movie. But personality? That's something else. Something greater, in my eyes. If a stupid horror movie manages to have some actual personality, I can forgive it. And if it has a lot of personality that makes it unique, different, and actually memorable, well hell, I can praise a movie that does that. To me, personality is key. But unfortunately, personality is greatly affected by another element, and that's execution. And Resident Evil has pretty terrible execution. It's executed like a video game. A silly, unrealistic video game. So it's not as good as World War Z.
What the fuck is that?
One of the Hive's early experiments. Now that it has fed on fresh DNA, it will mutate. Becoming a stronger, faster hunter.
Oh my god, that is stupid. Okay, so let me get this straight. You're telling me this monster can eat one human being, then transform, growing twice its own size, mutating and evolving into a massive superior creature in sheer seconds? God, that makes the Lickers the most dangerous monsters in the entire Resident Evil series. They must be stronger than Jesus and Satan combined.
God, I'm so ready to finish this movie. Can we just finish this movie?
So the characters all try to make it out of the laboratory, and on the way, the terrible-looking Licker attacks and serves as the final boss.
Open the doors! Now!
Yeah, keep that techno music playing. It really gets me in the spirit of survival horror. After making it back to the mansion, the two survivors finally collapse on the floor and reflect on everything that just happened.
I failed. All of them. I failed.
And for a minute, it almost seems like they're gonna give us a little bit of personality. But oh no, it's the Umbrella Corporation! Well, this is a significant change of events. So Milla wakes up a momentous amount of time later, and she finds that she's suddenly locked in a hospital, completely abandoned and left to rot. Eventually she manages to escape. Somehow. I don't even know. And once she gets outside, oh dear. It looks like the Christians were right all along. The apocalypse has come. And lastly, as the movie draws itself to a close, it leaves you sitting with one strong final thought. They probably would have been better off just making a music video.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, was the Resident Evil movie. And like I said, I kinda like it.
Again, I feel I must reiterate, this is not the worst movie in the world. It could have been a lot worse. While it may be stupid, derivative, possibly a bit rushed, and of course riddled with silly cliches, Paul W.S. Anderson's Resident Evil is at least a faithful adaptation. It gives us the story of Resident Evil, which, to be fair, was a really silly story to begin with. And it makes just enough changes to be interesting, and just enough changes to make it work as a movie. Sure, maybe it doesn't give us hilarious Albert Wesker fights or sexy Jill Valentine scenes like the sequels do, but unlike the rest of the series, this movie tried to take itself seriously. It's less rushed and a little more well thought out than the others, so you have to give it credit for that. And yes, this movie may have a lot of stupid jump scares, with little to no real horror whatsoever. But hey, at least we'll always have the Pop-Tart jump scare from Silent Hill Revelation to remind us how great horror can be.
Yeah, Pop-Tart jump scare. Kill yourself.
Hey, thank you guys for watching my Resident Evil movie review. Right now, before I go, I'd like to take an opportunity to thank my top supporters on Patreon. WanderGirl108, Jose Garcia, Kira Dude, Nathan Stapleton, Xantippy Pink, Christopher Ulrich, Quantum Clockwork, Ramil Doronio, Noah Vilgrain, and Twinblade Mel. You guys are amazing. That is all.
Jordan, I hope you don't mind me calling, but thanks for the reference to my Star Wars Christmas special. I much appreciate it. You didn't have to. It was really nice. I'm not a sellout or anything. I just I like it when people talk about me indirectly, of course. I mean, it was just an implied reference. You know, you can't hide from me.